have to stop rocking. It was 11 Celsius last night, which is pretty chilly, about 52 or so. I always watch as the water's warm and the mist is cold, or the temperature is cold and the heat of the pond rises and leaves. But look at it today. The sun is already up and yet it's still coloring the mist. Isn't that beautiful? I think I'll say a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this new day. Please help us to be happy today. Help us to have goals. I had a goal I thought of yesterday and now I forgot it. Oh yeah, play my violin. Please help me get better at my violin. Help me figure out these tunes that this group plays so I could play with them. Thank you for the beauty around us, for the birds and the moisture and the warmth and the sun. Thank you much for all the changes. It's always different. Bless us that we will be optimistic about our future, that we will be able to do things today to make our future tomorrow better. Help us to talk to Thee and be close to Thee today. And thank you for all the uplifting talks that we can listen to and the scriptures. Thank you so much for the things that I learn as I listen to general conference talks and BYU speeches. Thank you so much for YouTube and that these things are so easily available to us. Thank you for giving us truth on the gospel and for Jesus Christ. Thank you for his example of how to live a good life, how to be happy, how to help others. Thank you for opportunities to serve and the joy that it brings us when we do things for others. And thank you for the harvest time. Please help us to find the foods that are out there naturally, that we can harvest them and put them away against the time of shortage. Please inspire us. Help us to do all these things that will help us and help others. Thank you for family. Thank you for blessing us that we have parents and likely siblings and children and grandchildren. And bless those who have not got those for whatever reason. Bless them that they will be very close to Thee. I found that when I had nobody, I was very close to Thee. Well, I never had nobody, but at times when it felt like I had nobody. Thank you for not judging me, but for just accepting me as who I am and blessing me with potential. And thank you for showing me my weaknesses. Sometimes I don't like knowing what my weaknesses are. But thank you for helping me to overcome them and to become a better person. Please watch over our families. We love our children, our grandchildren. Please bless us that we can let them know that they might never wonder if we love them. And Please watch over us and help us to say the right things and be kind. And there's a lot of turmoil in the woods, a lot of differences of opinion. And please bless us that we might that we might that we might like the angels, that we might be mistaken for angels. Please help us as we see things that we're doing we shouldn't do to apologize and to turn away from it and become better. It's really hard to see ourselves mess up and have to deal with it. But bless us that this day we won't mess up. We'll have a good day and we won't leave any baggage for tomorrow. Thank you so much for the beauty around us, the beauty in other faces, in the animals. Thank you for giving us animals that we can have as pets. I don't have any pets, thou knowest that, but thank you for giving us ways to find love and to be happy. And help us to give love to those around us. Help us to let people cross the street in front of us. Help us to let cars pull in front. Help us not to be selfish, but make the way easier for those who are trying to get out of driveways and parking lots. Help us to be polite and courteous and kind and helpful. And thank you for the change of the seasons. As the fingers of autumn reach into summertime, and the fingers of summer reach into autumn. Please protect us from the weather. Help us to have secure homes where we will be safe. And I suppose what we can learn from all these disasters is to help one another. Sometimes we will need help, and sometimes we will be able to provide help. And help us not to be selfish, but to share what we have with those who need it and who don't have. Please watch over the people in the Ukraine. Bless us all that we cannot try and take what is not ours, which I guess is stealing. Please help us to be a good people that will be blessed by Thee, as we're good and righteous. We can feel Thy power, can feel Thy presence, and Thy love for us. And thank You for the opportunity to work. Work is wonderful. Keeps us from sitting around watching TV or playing Minecraft. Thank You for giving us ways to work and ideas. I love ideas. Thank You so much for my ideas. There's nothing like a good idea or a new idea. Thank You for the bridge I'm building. Please help me to stabilize it so I won't feel shaky as I walk across. And help me find the charger and battery pack for my drill so I can use it again. So grateful to Thee for flowers, all the color, and that the hot summer is nearly past. Thank you for these milder temperatures that I have. I suppose a whole lot of the world has different situations. Please protect those who are fleeing fire and flood. There's a lot of people that are being flooded in Texas and in Kentucky and Mississippi and all along the Mississippi River. Please help us to help one another. And this Sabbath day, help us to worship Thee. Help us to go to church. No matter what church we go to, help us to go to church and fill the world with more light and happiness and love. What the world needs now is love. It's always been that way. And help us to say kind things to those around us. We're so grateful for all our blessings. We're grateful for sunshine, for stars, for rain and clouds. Grateful for warm water, for swimming and surfing and whatever things that people do on the water. Thank you for blessing us with so many ways to appreciate nature and the earth around us. Help us all to be able to breathe clean air and drink clean water. Help us to be careful of the toxins that are in everything now. Please watch over us and bless us this day. And these things, and help us to be safe as we travel, drive around and walk around, that we won't fall and hurt ourselves. And these things pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Well, good morning, Tyler. Tyler, I've always imagined that you're a man. Are you a man, or is Tyler a woman's name? That's such a beautiful view when you can see the water rise. So this is Fiddlehead Pond here. And there's another pond in here, which is called Serenity Dippity Pond. Used to be the lower pond. 55-year-old man. Well, I got you beat. I'm 66. Soon I'll be 67. It's weird to get old. It's very strange. We should have courses that teach us about getting old. What you can expect. I guess that's geriatrics, is it? Is that the study of aging? Is geriatrics? Isn't that pretty how the sun shines on the mist? This is Ontario, Canada. Yep. This is the boreal forest. That's my swing. That's a birdhouse in the gourd. That tape is to keep the we had a plague of caterpillars. Oh yeah, Heavenly Father, thank you for helping get rid of the caterpillars. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Yeah, we had a plague of forest tent caterpillars. So I put those on the trees, but they need to come off. I made a pathway around here the other day, remember? You can now walk down there and then go straight, which you couldn't do before. You can go straight on the other side of this pile, just down below. I've made a nice pathway around, and then it crosses here, and I'd like to continue the pathway around. And it's where the deer can go. The deer they already do use that area. And of course there's bird houses and signs. I love making signs. Terrarium Hillside. This one up here is Hilltop Deer Cafe. Whereas that, over there on the top of that hill, where the light is, that's the top of the hill, that is deer meadow. Often find deer beds over there. And the big valley in between, and down in the valley is Dead Man's Run. Down there is a deep valley, and it comes out down there by the pond. I love my fleeces. I have all these fleeces that they're not as clean as they should be, but they're so nice. They're real and they're soft. And I fill up places with them now. But the leaves are starting to fall. The seasons are changing. Changing. This is an elm tree it's trying to die. Actually, there's 3 of them there. I like watching the mist. I love that I can make videos and that you can be here with me. I can share my story with you. We've all got a story. Everybody's story is different. We all have different trials at different times. And sometimes they all work out. Sometimes they change our lives. We have 11 acres that we own. Most of it is down there. We're on a corner of it up here. And we own that hill there and the valley on the other side. And then we own all of the wetland, all of the 11 acres, most of it. Maybe it's about 5 acres up here, I guess. And then down there, it's the rest of it. But it connects to a forest which goes and goes and goes in all directions. And you can explore it. My sister owns 22 acres on the other side over there, or 25 acres, which is also beautiful forest with a beautiful stream. We have a stream and 4 ponds. So there's Fiddlehead Pond here. And then if you go around, you get to Iceberg Pond. And then that one is Serenity Dippity Pond. And then there's a moat, which an island. And that the road is to connect the 3 ponds, which becomes the 4th pond. It's a circle. And I've got 1 bridge over it. My sons helped put logs on years ago. And I'm creating another bridge. Willem helped me get my joists across. It was too big. It was too wide for my 16-foot piece. So I had to attach a lot of boards together to make another one, to make the joists, to span the distance. But it's very wobbly. It goes like that while you walk on it. I have old-looking hands now, don't I? Look at that. They've all changed. My mother had very big knuckles. She was a typist, and her fingers got all arthritic from typing. That one sure is turned crooked, hasn't it? Oh well, it's fine when you go like that. Oh, dirty fingernails again. That's what happens when you work in the yard, and I just seem to do a lot of things that make my fingernails dirty. I scrubbed them last night with a nail brush, but they're still dirty. I have to soak them. Find when you wash your hair, when you scrub your hair, your scalp, it helps. I've been seeing a lot of turtles in the pond lately. Some painted turtles, about, I can't show you when I have it all zoomed in. About this big. About as big as my hand, that's what they are. I'm in great shape for my age? Well, that's nice to hear. It's hard. Everything's getting harder. My energy runs out earlier and more often. And it doesn't bounce back after a rest. That's the hardest thing, I think, is the energy level. But thank heavens I have new hips. Otherwise, I would really have a different life. I'm so grateful I have new hips. I'm grateful I didn't get a infection. So many people get infections and then it turns into 3 operations. The first one where they give you the new hip, it gets infected, they have to remove it and put in a temporary. Let all the infection go away, and then they have to put in the new one again. I probably will need new knees before I'm done, but not yet. You like my shoes? Hey, what happened to that one? This is what happens when you don't look at what you're doing when you put your shoes on. But at least they're on the right feet. Aha! The little grandchildren were here yesterday, and it was so neat to watch little Maya read, learning to read and sounding out words. Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss. I haven't heard her read. She's 6 now. You know, they're not teaching the kids writing anymore. They're teaching them printing. Oh my gosh, your mom died from a staph infection getting a knee replacement? Oh my gosh, that's so sad. I'm sorry to hear that, Tyler. That's where the road is. And my teepee beside it. See the wire? The teepee is just to the right at that telephone pole. I took all the, oh, good morning, Moomin. Hugs to you too. It's nice to see you. So I went along the trails. Hello, there we are. So I have been making trails down there by the teepee, and I love my hair. Look, it's getting very long. Longest it's ever been. That's because I haven't cut off the crappy stuff at the end. Usually I would cut the crappy stuff off, oops, and then it would always end up the same length, but now it's actually getting really long. I don't think it's ever been this long. Usually it just gets that long. Anyway, thank you. Schmooman 151 says, lovely to see you relaxing. Your hair is, what did you say? Your hair is lovely. Thank you. And Tyler says 2 jumbo jets worth of people die every day in America from staph infections in hospitals. Wow. My son got a staph infection and it became osteoporosis in his hip. He was young. He was maybe 10 or 9 years old. Poor little guy. But they got it all. Yeah, how long ago did your mom die, Tyler? She must have been getting up there. If you're 55, 65, 75. It's weird to be at the age where people start dying, you know? I'm 66. And we hear about lots of famous people that are dying at this age or earlier. And I guess funerals become more frequent and you lose your friends. I'm so glad I've got YouTube because I have people that are younger than me. Lots of people that are younger than me. You guys really help me with my life. I would be so lonely if I didn't have you to talk to. I mean, I have God and I have Willem. I have Mary Jane. My kids, nah, not so much. They're really not interested in hearing me talk about my things. They're more interested in talking to their mom about their things. And sometimes it doesn't go over well. I'm 55 and lost dad and friends. You have a young mind. Hmm. Yeah, it's hard, eh? That's why it's so important to have a spiritual relationship with the Lord. Whatever you attribute God to be, whatever higher power there is. Hi, Susan. Good morning. Nice to see you. I'm sorry I didn't message you that I was going on, but I thought you might be asleep. I didn't want to wake you up. I have my husband's cousin's son has autism, and he calls me, and she was 75 when she died, June 2010. Boy, that's been a while, eh? 2010? What is this, 2022? Amazing. You know, I walked along looking at license plates yesterday. I had parked my car. I went to a fair where I listened to um, fiddlers and friends. I want to join a fiddling group, but they play music that I don't know, and it's really hard for me to learn new music. Yeah, how are you, Susan? You got your nerves burned for your on your back? I think that's really cool. I wonder if they could do that for me. The other day I put my tailbone out. I picked up one of those joists, which was very heavy. I should have been using 2x6s, but I was using 2x8s. My son had given me all the wood from his deck, so I used the 2x8s to create long joists. They were, 2 boards wide, and they're a patchwork of boards, 3 on each side. And I'm glad you're doing pretty good, Susan. And Moomin, what's it like in England? How'd you deal with that heat? Did you get that scorching heat lately? My goodness, that was hot. The world is getting hotter. Things are changing. There's nothing normal anymore. And everybody knows it now. Whether it's whatever they attribute the cause to, it was kind of irrelevant because we're in it and it is kind of important. But I don't see how we're not going to how the Earth is not going to continue to get warmer and warmer and warmer. That's the trajectory it's on. And already it's flooding a lot and the weather is a mess. At least you're out of your house and enjoying life. You are great at music. Join any group you fancy. Thanks, Moomin. Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, so anyway, I filmed it, but I hear it was turned black. Sorry about that. Um, Enjoying life is sometimes it's hard. I have SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and so I take Celexa, the citalopram, and when I don't when I don't take it, my mood can get really dark. Well, not that dark, just blah. But when I take them, I feel much better. I feel much happier. I've always been very happy. I was accused of seeing the world through rose-colored glasses when I was younger. When I was very young, I was 17 and I was accused of that. I was at a playground swinging on a swing. I had just gotten back from Jamaica and I was in Miami at a park. It's funny because I don't usually leave airports. Leaving an airport is kind of difficult because airports are too far away. You have that too, Susan. Yeah, it's a bummer. There's nothing worse, I find, than waking up miserable. Ugh. It's really awful to wake up miserable. But gratitude, if you don't have pills, gratitude will help, but you got to really stay on top of it. You got to start saying thank you for everything. And if you give a reason why, it makes it real. Like, thank you for this mist because it's so interesting to look at and it's so beautiful. And um, hope you are happy, everyone. It's hard sometimes. I love God and Jesus. Yeah, interesting that, they know how this earth plays out. They know that our bodies, they know which situations that we have that we need to deal with and overcome. Some people with deep depression. Depression is awful, 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 awful. Anyway, but there are ways out of it. I find a good one is repentance, to recognize where you're seeing life negatively and apologize for it and try and see it the opposite way, and you do get joy. You guys are so nice. I'm so glad to talk to you. You like my shirt? My sweatshirt? This is from the natives. It says, every child matters. It's backwards on you when I look at it from you, but it's not backwards on me. Let's look at this mist again. I'm surprised there's so much of it. It's still coming off the water. This morning when the sun was rising, it was. You love my videos. Followed your videos for years. Love your shirt too. Bless you. Thanks, thanks, Moomin. Have you always been called Moomin? I, I, I know there's different names. People change their names, and then I lose track of who's who anymore. That's neat that you. Now, which kind of videos you did change your name? What was it before? Oh. When it's a starry night, I call it like a sunny day and a moony night. I like to call it a moony night or a starry night. Sometimes you can see the moon, but not the stars. We get great stars here. Too bad I can't film that. Sandra Martin. Hi, Sandra. That's a nice name. Sandra Martin. I won't remember that unless I go write it down. I guess I should do that. So today is Sunday. We have church today, which means I should go shower, but I really don't want to get wet. It's cold out here. I went in the bathroom this morning and turned the little electric heater on. Oh, I was so glad to have that little heater. It's so nice because you just turn the dial and the heat comes out and it warms up the room you're in. And you don't have to warm up the whole house. You just warm up the little area. In the winter when the little children are here, I would be sitting in there and the children would come in and they would sit on the floor in front of the heater. We don't have the wood stove going yet. It's August. It's a bit early to light the wood stove. But it's going to get hot today. It's going to go up to 27. I should probably go for a walk, but I can't take you with me when I go for a walk. See, I used to be able to take you with me. Not to worry, I love your craft videos and outdoor videos, cooking videos, and the dump videos. So great. The other day I have a new thing I do. I go to the dump on Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday, if I can. And I play my violin while people wander around looking at stuff and taking stuff home. It's so cool. It's all free. It's amazing. And the people out here are pretty poor. Not all of them. There's a lot of people from the city out here, but there's a lot of craftspeople, and there's a lot of backwoods people that, they like they work in the woods, logger or you know, I don't know. But there's a lot of people. I once went at the clinic and they did a survey. It was years ago, 20 years ago or something. Actually, the clinic was started just the year we moved here. Anyway, so I went there and there was a survey and we had to fill it out and they had income levels and you were to tick off your income level. And it started at 5,000 and went up to like 30,000 and above 35,000 or above 40,000. But I was quite surprised. I thought, my gosh, to have so many categories below $30,000. This is a very depressed area. But the city, Ottawa, is getting bigger all the time, as all cities are. Every generation. I guess a lot of people are having 2 children, so the population stays the same. But the people that have more children, it used to be that the population double every generation. If you go back and do genealogy, the reason we all tie into the kings, if we go back into England, is because there were just so few people back then. I haven't seen my raccoons lately. I wonder how many raccoons actually live here. I should probably put some food out and bait them and see who comes. And put a camera up. I need a camera to watch outside. But our Wi-Fi being what it is, it's not very good. Wouldn't that be fun to have cameras attached to the house? Be able to see it on your phone? My son has that. He's doing very well. And he can spend his money on all these things, these play devices. He likes technology. My daughter has a lot of solar. She's not hooked up to the grid. They don't have water or power. So they have lots of solar panels and big batteries. And I'm not sure about water, how they do that. I think they get some from the neighbor. I think they go fill up their water jugs. Have a lot of water jugs. She probably doesn't like having... Oh, Whit Moomin says, when you had lovely hats, you were always doing something interesting and chatting to Willem. Yes, I don't do as many interesting things now. Do I? What do I do? Well, I'm trying to learn about fleece, everything you can do with fleece. I'm trying to learn about, well, I play Minecraft. So I'm finding out that on a flat area, you can put a house. I've got villagers. I'm trying to watch, developing cities in my, so I have a city now. I have stores. Yes, you do interesting things now. Well, I'm trying to learn the violin. I started when I was 52, so never feel like you're too old to start something new. It actually does good things for your brain, your gray matter, if you learn new things. I'm trying to learn the names of the birds that are around here and the songs and being able to identify them. I have that app, Bird Net. And the plants, I always want to know the names of all the plants. Willem is helping me dig up an area in front of the front porch. I'm on the back porch now. This is the shady deck. So the shady deck, it's shady most of the day. In the morning it's sunny, but see, we have lots of trees up there now. Everything is so much taller. It used to be quite a solar-powered house. Lots of sun came in, and on a negative 32 day in the winter, it would be warm in the house. Yeah, Raccoon Whisperer. So Tyler Krill says, a guy named the Raccoon Whisperer, Nan B was telling me about him. does that, and now he has like 25 fat raccoons coming to his house. Well, we have this deck, which is about 2,000 square feet. I went a little overboard. And that was from the sale of my mother's house. We got an inheritance. Pretty cool, eh? Anyway, so I got this deck, which I absolutely love. It's so cool because if I need to use a walker on it, I can. There's no bumps. There's nothing to trip over except the mess I leave. So, raccoons, I want to find out about the raccoons under the deck. I don't really want any extra raccoons. I know I have two babies, and they will come out in the morning sometimes. But I think it would be good to see how many raccoons are under the deck. It's such a huge deck. They have a lot of places to live. For a while, we had a couple feral cats showed up. Actually, I think it was a whole family of kittens, and they got up into my car, up into the engine of my car, and I'd see them running away. But anyway, eventually we have fishers. Fishers are a big black cat-like creature that's weasel, huge, and they're very vicious. They jump up and bite in the neck and bite the jugular vein, so they can kill a bear. Easy, no big deal. Nothing bothers them. Anyway, they kill cats. And so we had these feral cats, and one day I looked out and there were like 7 cats out there. I think one of the cats was in heat. Anyway, there's no cats anymore. There's a white and black cat that I see sometimes, and I think it might be owned by the neighbors. There's a farm up on the top of the hill behind me, and I don't think they have animals anymore, but they may have cats still. Anyway, there's one cat that I see now and then, but they're feral, so they run away whenever they see us. What else have we got here? We went away, right? We were service missionaries at the Thomas S. Monson camp, which is north of Peterborough. It's a church camp for the young women. The young men would go camping in the wilderness. They would go hiking and doing things, but the young women always had to go to provincial parks. And they would be in a group campsite, and there would be other people around walking by, and there'd be other people at the washrooms and all that. And they didn't have a place to cook. They would have to put up tarps. And everything was over the fire. Unless I guess they would bring their own stuff. Well, so the church has invested in recreational facilities. So all young women can go to this camp now. It's for the whole region of eastern, central, and southern Ontario, all the part between the Great Lakes, and up north to the edge to the border. So from Ottawa to Sarnia to Niagara Falls, that's the triangle. Anyway, and so all these young women come, and there's 7 washrooms and 6 showers, or 7 showers, and there's a huge kitchen, and there's a big pavilion where all the picnic tables are under. So I don't know, there's like 30 picnic tables under there or something, maybe more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe there's 25 picnic tables or something under there. And then there's more picnic tables that can't fit under there. And so the young women now come, and there's 7 huge campsites, group campsites. So there's room for like 60 campers on one site. So many tents. I can't remember the number of tents. Maybe it was 60 tents in one of them. I don't remember. Anyway, so they've got these 7 campsites, and in our church, yeah, it was fun to help out there. It was fun. But anyway, I wasn't up to it. My body isn't as good as it needed to be. But also we had family problems. The children needed babysitting and daycare and whatever. So anyway, we're here. So it was short, but it was interesting and it was really nice to serve. It was the most fun was meeting all the people that came and teaching the girls basketry. That was my joy. I loved going and teaching basketry. I wouldn't mind just doing that. So that's another thing I'm doing. One of my projects is baskets. I'm learning to coil now. And so I have this long tussock sedge and long sedge grass, Carex carpa, and I wrap the, and then you wrap it to the row below. So you start with a little snake, right? And as you wrap it, and then you get the one beside it, and then you go around it and keep getting the one beside it, and it gets bigger, and then you put them on top, and you go up. You make figure eights if you don't want the wrapping to show as an external wrapping. You can get placemats like that from Hobby Lobby and such. Those I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, so I'm trying to get better at that. And I'm working on my teepee. I always have to keep adding grass to my teepee. The weather took a lot out of it this year. Well, we weren't here all summer, so the weather really did a number on it. And no, I didn't do any patching up. But this year, the grass, I started to say this a long time ago, but the grass is so tall now that it's over my head. And you can go through it with my big grass cutters, big long handled things. I push it forward with my toe, and then I pull the two handles together and cut the grass, and then I open it and push it forward, and so I just keep cutting forward. And then I take my hand and I just go like this, and whatever grass comes out with, I put down, and then I keep going. Anyway, and so there's an enormous pile of grass I've cut just making one path. That's all I've got. It's so overgrown down there. I can go right around the teepee now, and I have one path to the A-frame and the stream. But all those other paths, they're all very tall. But I think what I'll do is I'll go down and I'll cut them. And then I took piles, big armloads. I mean, big armfuls of grass. I took and put on the teepee. From the inside, I can see that where the poles are is where light comes through. So I've got the thatching that hangs down, but it only goes from pole to pole. And I can make it kind of thick at the edges so it's more there, but it's not perfect. So anyway, I laid down the grass on those places, and then I lay it on top. And I think what you can do is just tie it on. Oh, look, that is great to do basket work. I live in Somerset, and I'm lucky to live near Willow. Oh, you live near Willowlands. Wow, they have basket weaving craft center there. They make loads of practical and beautiful objects. You are so lucky. I love making baskets. I just love it. There's something very relaxing about it. But sometimes I don't like to sit. Sometimes it's good to stand up. I have a table that I like that you can stand at, but four wheels, the wheels fell off. It didn't make any sense. The wheels were not loose. I took it in the trailer, and when I took it out of the trailer at the camp, 3 wheels fell off. But I never found the nuts or anything. Well, actually, I did find them. No, I didn't. Well, anyway, so I have to put those nuts. I have to put those back on. Hey, you know what? I think you could make a nut out of hot glue. What do you think? You put it through, put your nut through, and you just put lots and lots of hot glue on there, and then you could probably unscrew it later when it dries. Ha! What an interesting idea. I watched some of these how-to shows, these constructions or carpentry. I love carpentry. I made all those little tables. This table here, this only got 2 legs. Tried to see if I do it with 2 legs. I get wood from a lumber yard, and he'll sell seconds and thirds. So I made all of those garden beds. I had a trailer load of wood for $40, or maybe it was $20. It was paper thin, but it wasn't all paper thin. Some was big, and so I used all that, and I made all those. We have. I made 25 garden beds, and Scarlett, she had us helping her then when I got my hip replaced, and she lived here. She and Bo lived here for a while. Anyway, and they built. The missionaries would come a lot, and they built a lot of those garden beds on the other side. There's 25 of them, I think, over there. And then I have 5 more down by the moat. But this year they're all full of weeds, and I haven't done anything with them. You're always so brilliant. That would work, I think. YouTube it. That table is great, plus those beds. You're super inventive. Thanks. If I get an idea, I love ideas, and I just try and do them. I made bandsaw boxes once. Did you remember the bandsaw boxes? There's videos on here making them. I took a chunk of 4x4 of pressure treated wood. It probably should have been not pressure treated. But I cut off a slice and I cut it out. Cut a slice off and cut the bottom off, and then you go around and cut the middle out. And then from the middle, you cut that up and it into a drawer inside this shell, and you put the back on. Afterwards, you glue the back on. I love doing that. But my bandsaw doesn't work. My bandsaw is... I should really go through the things in the sunroom and get rid of the things that I don't use. You know, my stained glass, I used to do stained glass, or I did it for a few years. I just loved it. It was so cool, but now I don't seem to be able to break glass properly. I got a new cutter. You love the teacups. Oh, I got a whole bunch of teacups at the dump yesterday and saucers. I need a new diamond drill bit. Diamond drill bits cost about $25. And they just have industrial diamonds. That finger's dirty. They just have industrial diamonds around the end of it. And you put a little water in the cup and you pull it down with a drill press. A drill press is the best ever. And you make holes in them. I made holes in the teacups and in the saucers, and I put them on posts. There's one over here. You can see that one. And I have them in the teacup trail. I love teacups. They're really cool. They're pretty and delicate. But you know, I drink so much that a little teacup doesn't hold enough for me. But they also have glasses at the dump. Drinking glasses, I guess that's what you call them. Drinking glasses and vision glasses, what are these called? Corrective lenses. Where are your corrective lenses, Nancy? Oh, they're on my face. Smile, it's good for you. Just make a smile. Yes, teacups are friendly and welcoming. That's right. I'm going to put more up because I've got more now. I was thinking of putting them up down along the highway, putting them on the trees. They're kind of quaint. So those are my projects, I guess. I'd like my stained glass to work. That was really fun to make stained glass. And I have a pottery studio. I was in there the other day, and it was so inspiring to be in there. It's a really nice place. I want to get all that wood out of there. I've got a lot of wood. I'm going to panel the inside, but there's some leaks on the ceiling because it's under the deck. It doesn't have a ceiling. I'm not sure. And so I go in there and I squirt it with bleach all the time. There's these black areas where the water gets through on the particle board. And so I go in there and spray it with bleach so I won't have mold. But I probably have mold anyway. So I have bleach in a spray bottle. I have a lot of spray bottles. I have a spray bottle with vinegar and water in it for the windows. One with cat repellent liquid to get rid of those feral cats that were... You see, the problem with them is if they're males, they stink the place up. They'll spray. Oh, hi, Jordan. I'm fine. How are you? How's Ireland? It's Ireland, right? Not Scotland. I forget. Yeah, so I should do stained glass again. I have it all down there in the pottery studio, so it's got its own place. I'd love to take you for an English tea at Dunster Castle and treat you. They have such quaint furniture and teacups. Oh, that would be lovely. Well, if I ever come to Somerset, I'll definitely look you up. My son wants to go to England. He wants to go to Scotland. They want to go to Australia. My husband's cousin's son lives in Australia. And he calls me almost every day. Calls me in the morning before I wake up. Calls me at night when it's too late. Calls me in the middle of the night. You'd be honored to meet me. I think it's just a normal person. I'm not anything fancy. It's just that I have a camera. I'm a normal person with a camera. I would be honored to meet you, Moomin. Moomin. Now, where is that name from? What does that mean? Moomin. Moomin. I don't know. Things that don't have you are fancy to me. Ah, yes, fancy. Fancy Nancy. Hey, look, you can see the hilltop now. Oops. Oh, we were really zoomed in. Look, you can see where the light is over there, so you can see the shape of the hill now. See? It's very steep. Oops. And very high. And beautiful. It's a lovely place up there. It's so lovely. I have a chair up there at the edge of the hill where I look over. I used to have a chair at that end of it so I could look at the opening. It's a meadow up there, and there's birch trees around it. Birch trees and hemlocks, and a couple cedar trees at the end. You can see Moomin is a Swiss mythological animal that means mama or papa. Interesting. I thought it sounded like mama. I used to make hammocks, remember? You remember all those hammock videos? I used to lie in the hammocks and with my laptop and make videos. And then upload them. Everything was a few days late. Now, I guess because so many people use the internet, it just doesn't have as much speed anymore. Maybe I don't have to get that satellite thing. We've signed up for it, but we still haven't got it. We paid $30, but that was a long time ago. It must be a year or more ago now. But they haven't got enough equipment for people to do those things. Oh yeah, here's this thing here. That's fleece rolled up, 2 sheets and a pool noodle in the middle. And it's rolled up so I can felt it. But I'm not sure it's really going to work. The best thing would be to just make a comforter out of it. Just tie it. And then felt it. That'd be a good idea. I hear a car down there near my teepee. Going slowly. I love the way you are with Maya. Seeing the family grow up is a privilege. Yeah, I like my grandchildren. I have 3. And then my husband has a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. He has 5 grandchildren, and we have 3 grandchildren. Eight. We have 9 kids together and 8 grandchildren together. He has 4 children, and I had 2, and he had 4. And we married and had 3 more. So it's a big blended family. And I raised my 5. and his ex-wife raised his 4. And they all live in Ottawa or around. And mine live around me, and yeah, I wanted to have lots of kids so we'd have somebody that came home on Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's a good thing I had more than one or two because, well, actually my first 2 are the ones that live the closest. No, the first 3 live the closest. But with COVID, and then the price of gas, and Scarlett doesn't like to drive anymore. She likes to not spend any money. So she doesn't drive. Of course, that means that I have to drive to go visit her. Oh well. Life is like that, right? But my son in Ottawa, he likes to come out. They come out sometimes. They're they haven't been out lately. Well, that's because we were gone all summer, right? That kind of messed up the routine. They like camping, but camping is pretty hard if you're already working full time, and it's kind of hard for them to camp. But I went with them the last time, and I did all the cooking, and that was so much fun. I liked cooking over a fire. I just took care of the campfire all the time. That was really nice. And I was an extra adult to we had 3 grandchildren there. My 3. I love my little grandchildren. They're so nice. They're changing. They're not like they were. They're not youngsters anymore. Now they're school age. Their interests have changed. This Pokemon is an interesting thing. They're really wrapped up in trying to play this game, which I guess is wandering through the woods and through the meadows looking for creatures and trying to find all the creatures. And they're cute little creatures. Well, some of them are. Some of them are kind of yucky looking, but they're cute, like little cartoon characters with pastel colors. I guess it's Japanese. But they are so taken with that. They both sit there the whole time, the whole day when I'm babysitting. They'll sit there the whole day and play these games. But yesterday they didn't. Yesterday they actually stopped playing for a while. They played upstairs. They wrestled and tickled each other, and there's a bed that has a lift to it. You push the button and it'll lift up. And so they get on that. Then they lift up one side and lift up the knees, and I laid down in the crack of it, and oh, you're squishing me. I'm getting squished. I'm getting squished. It wasn't squishing me. It was just fun. But it was nice when they actually wanted to play with me, and they were squealing and screaming, and so I was I was squealing too. They thought that was wonderful. Yeah, it's all changing when the children grow up and they're going to school. And my Pokemon, my Pokemon, we had those cartoons on TV. Nice when they interact. Yes, yes. Yeah, they're not doing anything like getting exercise. And we do have a trampoline. They did go out and jump on it a little bit. I had all these watermelon rinds, and I usually throw them into the flowers there. And the tall, 6-foot tall flowers, or 8-foot tall flowers. No, not 8, maybe 7. What was that? But I missed, and they landed on the trampoline. So we have all these watermelon rinds. It's not a lot of compost, it's just the watermelon rinds. Have you ever pickled them? Pickled watermelon rinds. I mean, it's food, it's edible. So instead of throwing it away, how about pickling them? I don't think I want to eat pickles. But I should try it, shouldn't I? Love your nettles. Yes, nettles are so cool. And my goodness, this is quite the little harvest that I've got hanging in the kitchen. And it's not all of them. There's more to come. Huge amount of nettles. I like having greens. If you crumple them enough, you don't have to chew them too much when they're in the pot of vegetable. I like to mix my vegetables together. I usually have lentils and then add whatever vegetables to it. I have lots of vegetables, and I like Indian spices. Pakistan, I like cumin, coriander, not so much hot red pepper. I don't use that one very often. But those are the ones that are in, what are they called? Samosas. Samosas are so good. Almonds, almond flour, it's always expensive, but now there's a problem with the almonds. I guess that's what they grow in California, and they're having such a drought. So the price of almonds, I don't know if it's already doubled or not, but it was already very expensive. So making bread out of almond flour is kind of gone by the way. I have lots of different kinds of flours stored in the freezers. I should take them out and try and learn to use them. Coconut flour, chickpea flour. I love chickpea junk food. Have you ever had that? Chickpea junk food. It's there's a company called SURI. You Google it, and they have all these different kinds of junk food which are so tasty. They extrude chickpeas and fry it, I guess, or bake it. Maybe just bake it. And it's so good. It's just chickpeas and oil and maybe salt. I love it. I'd like to learn to make that. I have a cookie press. I bet I could make a chickpea dough. I saw that video. Like that pot. Very healthy food you eat. We have plum tree and bay tree, herbs, thyme, rosemary, sage. Nice. Sage is supposed to be very good if you burn it. You make a bundle of it and you burn it. It's supposed to be good for, I don't know, cleaning up the atmosphere in a house. I'm not sure. I think the Holy Spirit is the best thing for cleaning up the atmosphere in a house. I think that if you have the Spirit and you live a good, clean, uplifting life, that your house will have good vibes. But if it happens to have bad vibes, the sage is supposed to be able to do something about that. Our vibes they remain where we are. You can go into a place and feel a bad feeling in there, and the vibes linger. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that kind of weird how that happens? What time is it? There's getting to be traffic out there. I was thinking about my perennials. I haven't really taken any care of my perennials. This is a bed that I created last year. It's got all the elm. This elm tree stump right there. I plant vegetables with my boyfriend. He's a farmer and gardener. Ah, that's good. See these spikes here? This is what's left of the hostas. The deer come and eat the hostas. I planted hostas all along Deer Meadow up there one year. I wonder how they're doing. I don't think they like it as dark and shady as we think. But anyway, this is all these little spikes. This is from those purple, what are they called? Scottish bells, or I forget what they are. There's a patch of this in the front yard that I've been trying to change. So Willem is helping me, and we got rid of all the creeping Charlie. Creeping Charlie is actually very beautiful. It has little purple flowers. I'm going to dig it up, and I was thinking you had too hot weather for some veggies. Yeah, really. Oh, yeah. How was your hot weather? Did you get that 40-degree weather? That was pretty hot. Ooh, I wouldn't want 40 degrees. Must have been something else. I was going to try and plant flax, but I wanted to 42 what? Oh, it was 42 degrees. Oh my gosh. Wow. How did you survive? What did you do? Do you have a stone house that stays cool? Well, hello, little chickadee. Hello. You're hearing me talking, so you think, of course, there's food. Must be food here. She's talking. I'll have to go feed them, I guess. They do have food in their feeder. Sat in a stone house in front of fans. Yeah, yeah. It was okay, I guess, if you did that. I think if you take a bowl of cold water and you blow a fan over it, or any water, and you blow a fan over it, but that it creates humidity, which may be pretty bad, but that's, I don't know, sort of how you air condition, I think. Oh, you did that? You put a fan over water? Yeah, I feel for you. I go and get in water. I go and get in the lake. The lakes in Canada are always cold. Who knows, that may change. I suppose it will. But I don't usually get in the lakes most of the time because they're too cold. I have fragile I have a fragile body. If it's too cold, it'll give you cramps. Like it'll give you leg cramps and cramps and different things like that. So I try not to. Look at how pretty the lawn looks now. Oh, you can see a reflection. Blue sky and a cloud. I harvested some of the willow along the edge of it. That tall stuff there, some of it's willow. Boy, I've been having fun with the willow lately. I've been arching it over and making these cool places. I am disabled and my legs are bandaged. I can't go in the water at the moment. But it's not hot now, right? It's okay? Your legs are bandaged? I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're disabled. But luckily, there is a lot of good stuff on YouTube, and you can always play Minecraft. I like Minecraft. Oh, I was telling you earlier about my villagers. So if you give them a chest, and in the chest you put lots of bread and potatoes, they will have children. They need beds, they need food, and they need a job. So you give them a composter, and then you plant. If you put water in the center, in a center block, and then you can hit all the blocks around it with a hoe, and they will turn into soil. And you can do 4 rings around it without putting another water. And then they'll all turn dark because of the water. You know, they'll be light. If there's no water, they'll get lighter and lighter, and then they'll turn to soil. It's gone back to normal now, nice and cool. Minecraft, my daughter raves about that game. It's very interesting. It's very fun. I like it. There's so many interesting things you can do. You can create. But sometimes it's boring. Sometimes if you do it for too long, it's depressing. I guess it's because you're alone. But so I like to do it and have conference talks on in the background. And that's kind of neat because then when you do certain activities there, it reminds you of the talk that you heard when you were doing that activity before. Everything's in blocks. It's all pixelated. For years, they went trying to make graphics better and better, and my kids would always rave about the better graphics on the latest games. But Minecraft has stayed pixelated, so you have blocks, big blocks, and they're like 3 feet square or something like that. And you build houses, and you can clone your house and make many houses, and then you can make many gardens, and then there's villagers, and the villagers will have hearts when they have enough of everything. Then they will stand and look at each other, and then they have hearts coming off of them, and then a little child will run away from between them. It's very cute. Very cute. I don't think they even touch. They just stand and look at each other with hearts. And sometimes they'll just keep having children. I mean, I had one that I gave them 9 beds in each of these houses and a chest full of food. and I would give them a lot of them. I would just give them. I would give them a garden, and it's funny when you do this and you've got their water and you're making your soil around it. They will come and they'll come along and they bend their head down and then there appears plants in that square and they'll nod their head and plant, and they go kind of slowly, and it's the cutest thing. And sometimes if you there'll be a person, a worker for every composter. So if you give a lot of composters, all of a sudden you have lots of farmers. They get a hat, like the hat is their profession, right? So they get a yellow brim straw hat. And so you have all these yellow brim straw hats, and they're all wandering around there planting. As soon as you make soil, they're planting. And then they're filling up their houses, and when it rains, they all go in their houses. So you watch when it rains, you'll see which houses are being used and which aren't. And there's lots of different kinds of work you can give them. You can give them a tool sharpening stone. You can give them a cartography table for map making. You can give them a loom for weaving. You can give them a crafting box and they become a shepherd. And then you can make animals. You can find animals. And if you get wheat and you hold wheat, all the animals will come to you and you wander around with the wheat. And then you walk slowly enough, you can get this group of animals to, you can get all the animals together. And then you can take dye from plants. There's all the different colored plants. And you can get all the colors from the plants, and then you can dye the wool on all the sheep with these colors, so you have different colors of animals, and then they breed and then they make a new color, and then you can have, oh, it's so much fun. And you can cover the hillsides with flowers if you want. Yes, indeed. It will definitely get your gray matter going. If you use creative mode, you can build the house you live in. You can make it as close to it as possible. You use a set of steps for a chair, a steps and a slab, and it'll make a longer chair, or a big tall backs. You can put two slabs, or you can use, oh, and there's all kinds of working stuff. Like you have redstone, which will make things work, and you have pistons. So you can make things like a moving rocket that will go chugga, 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 and move all the way up to the top of the thing. There's a lot of things you can do. You can create arbors and gazebos. You put a campfire on top, and then use a shovel to put the campfire out, and then you have this wooden thing. So you can use that for a bridge. And you have boats. You can make a boat, craft a boat, and then go you can hear the water splash, and you can go and explore, because they've got all these interesting terrains. They've got desert and snowy biomes and forest biomes and swamp, and then you can, oh, there's just so many things. You can make waterfalls by placing water, and see the water will run. Once you put a block of water, it will just go everywhere, and then it'll fade out. So it'll go just to there, and then it'll stop. And then you can block it in. You can make streams and rivers and rapids. You can make waterfalls. You can build blocks all the way up, 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 and then and then you can put water coming down, and then you can destroy all the blocks. Make blocks going up and over, and then you put your waterfall on the over, so you just have one block up there and you have water coming off it. You can put a tree up there too, and then you go back and you just destroy all those blocks and come back down to the ground. And then you can mine. It's all very true to Earth, like the depth of diamonds and the depth of coal, and you get coal and you craft lights. My son is in Bali. He just messaged me. He went windsurfing, or not windsurfing. He went surfing. He's never been surfing before. He may have found a new true love. Wouldn't that be good to get out and go surfing? What a lot of exercise for not a lot of work. right? He lives in Vietnam, in Saigon. I rode my first wave on the first try and went for the like 30s and bailed because I got close to shore. Isn't that cool? That's Daniel. There's a lot of Daniels in a lot of my videos. Just Google Nancy Today Daniel. There's a playlist by that name. And all of the videos with him. We made onion cookies once, I think. But there were lots of surfers, so I had to bail on 2 waves to avoid collisions. Oh my goodness. Wow. He's so used to tons and tons of people in Vietnam. People everywhere. Crowds of people on the streets on their motorbikes and people everywhere. And so he thought Bali would be crowded too, but he was very surprised that there were very few people there. Boy, when he comes home, he'll find out there's nobody anywhere here except on the cars way down there. Good morning. There's 10 people here. Can you believe that? 10 people and only 3 thumbs up. Now, what's the problem with this? All these videos, they say like and subscribe, like and subscribe. And I guess if you do subscribe, it's like sledding in that it takes forever to swim back after you catch a wave. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Windsurfing. Have you ever been windsurfing? I loved that. I only did it a few times in my life. I did some water skiing when I was a teenager. And I did some windsurfing with my cousins in Connecticut. That's cool he's doing that. What were we talking about? It could have been anything. Oh, yes, Minecraft. Oh, and also, like, I built my house that I live in now, only it turned out huge because if you have, your blocks are so big. I accidentally just lay down on the board and the wave took me all the way to shore. Huh. Wow, that must have been fun. Oh, how cool. That's a great thing he's learning. He's doing. Get him out of the house, you know? People end up staying with their games, and he and I played Minecraft during COVID. He had a server and he let me on there, but I filled up the world with so much stuff that he wanted a new world without me in it. So oh well, that was the end of that. So pleased he is happy and out on the sea. Isn't that cool? That's very cool. Very cool. So anyway, in Minecraft, I've lived in my parents' house and then another house, and I'm like, wee, all the while knowing how much arm flapping I am signing up for. Because he has to paddle back. I guess it'll take you way downstream, down the beach, right? Unless the waves are coming right into where you're starting from. Wow. Interesting. I'll have to respond to all that later. So anyway, in Minecraft, I made my mother's house. I've told you that before. And you go in the carport. It's just like my mother's carport, and then there's the door, and then there's a little shed. You go in, and then I made all the furniture. I made a table. You take a post, like a wall. You get walls or fences. You take a fence post, and you put a slab on top, or a trap door, or a carpet. And then you can put chairs, steps for chairs. You remember my mom? Haha, he has a lovely sense of humor. He is. He's awesome. Anyway, so I walk in that house in my mind. Well, it's not here anymore. It was on the one I had with Daniel, which now doesn't exist. So I have to make it on my own. I have a grass hut settlement. My teepee and all kinds of stuff. But when I made the house that Daniel was a child in, and we lived there until he was 6 or something. Yeah, it was brilliant. I was trying to make the yard into the same yard, but I didn't start with the same terrain, so it was a little difficult. But anyway, my mom's on a hill, right? Or it was on a hill, and there's a river at the bottom. So Daniel went walking through this house because it's big enough. You're walking in everything. So you've created rooms and spaces that you're in. And he walked through it and he says, "Oh, I remember this. Isn't that cool?" He was only 6 when we moved from there, but he recognized it from in Minecraft. I built this house and my parents' house and the other house we lived in, and I could build all kinds of things. Oh, I built stores. You have, if you're in creative mode, there's all this stuff that you can make, all the stuff that you can access. And there's food and there's frames. And so you make a table and then you put a frame on it and then you can place food on it. And so you can set the table. And I had all of you come in there one day and I had chairs and I put people's names on the back of the chairs. You can have signs. So you can put up a sign and you can write anything on the sign. Oh, and you can make a journal. There's books with quill and you can write in the book and you can save it, put it in an item frame on the wall, and then you always have it. You know where it is. And you can make maps, and then you can put the maps together, and you can see the whole map of everywhere. No, I didn't make my real house from scratch with Willem. I just the one on Minecraft. We had a lot of this house renovated, like the deck, and all the roofs over the decks, and we put up a new room upstairs, that whole big long room, and so they also redid the downstairs below it. So that whole side of the house has new walls and a new upstairs, but the floor is the same original structure, the foundation. And the other side of the house, well, we renovated the kitchen a bit, and we put in a new addition at the end. I know, it's a fantastic home. And you know, when I think back when I was young and I was so flaky. I couldn't stay with one subject very long and I wasn't finishing university very well. I went for 5 years off and on and I never did finish. I lacked 2 courses. Maybe I'll finish them. Ha 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 ha. Now that I'm over 65, it's free. Tuition is free in Canada. Uh-oh, something's happening up there on the road. Oh, maybe somebody turned in our road. Maybe they're coming up our road. I'm the keeper of the road, you know. If people get stuck, it's always right out in front of us. We go out with ashes in the winter to stop the ice. This is very nice talking to you. I'm glad that you're here. I wonder what time it is. I live in a brick house built 1926, belongs to the council. Oh, it's 8:30. I guess I've got to go take my shower and get ready for church. Well, it's been fun, eh? So Minecraft is good. I like Minecraft. It's very nice. You can download it. I think it costs $30 or something. And I don't know if those numbers are changing. And you download it, and then you can play with other people. Or you can just make your own world. And then you can invite people, other people that have Minecraft, like your grandchildren or people you know, and you can play with them. I have a friend on here that has it. Well, goodbye, everybody. I love you all. Thank you so much for spending time with me and watching this beautiful mist rising. It's not rising anymore. It's getting warmer out. Maybe I'll be able to wear something that's not so warm for church, but I don't think so because my fingers are freezing. They're frosty. I bet some of you would like some frosty weather. Our world being what it is. There's a drop of water on a plant down here and it's reflecting. It keeps moving and guess it's not going to show up. I've made some nice places in those alders. I arched them over and I made a little cove. It's kind of nice because it's, oh, let me see if I can do it again. I can see it where it is now. So it's right, I'll put it right in the center. It's on that little skinny tree right in the center. There's a drop of water that's flickering. Must be a leaf because it's pretty big from here, isn't it? Right, see my finger, right on that little tiny tree there, the center of it. It's a leaf with water on it. You know, the other day I was thirsty when I was out there. You guys are smart enough to know that when I say goodbye, I don't leave. Hi, 10 people now. Um, I figured out a way to collect water from leaves. Instead of having to um, put the leaf at your mouth and suck off the little puddle of water on the leaf, if you have a small piece of terry cloth and touch it to them, it'll soak up the water, and then you can just suck on that. That's how to get water when you're thirsty. From the dew. If you have dew, if your world isn't on fire. This world is such a strange place. So many of the people watching are having different problems. I watch these different videos, YouTube channels like The World is Dangerous and all kinds of climate change videos and about the droughts and the fires, and that's what I watch. People say, what do you watch on YouTube? Which channels do you subscribe to? Subscribe to a lot of different news channels. But you have to be careful because everybody's got their opinion on what. Anyway, it's nice to talk to you. I brought my spider plants out here. But this way is getting too light. I think it's getting too much light. I think there's time to take them inside again. The leaves are falling off of this tree. Autumn starts early here. The trees are starting to turn. It's August. The elms and the, what are they called? Basswood, those are turning. Okay, so I said goodbye, so I guess I should say goodbye again and go. Thank you for coming. There's 4 thumbs ups and 8 people. Remember, if you can thumbs up, if you're on a smart TV, you just click upward and you'll see the red line, and there'll be thumbs up, thumbs down. If it has both, put a thumbs up. And CC. Oh, also, if you're looking for something, you can click on the description and go scroll down as far as you can, and it'll say show transcript. Click on the transcript, and then you can just read through, and you can skim quickly and see what's been said. And if there's something interesting to you, you can click on that thing, and it will take you to that part of the video where you can see that part. So that's very helpful. So sometimes if I want to save data, like when I was at the camp and I wanted to watch the news, but I didn't want to have to wait and all that, I would just click on that. Yes, indoors for the spider plant. Goodbye, Nancy. See you again. I will see all the transcripts. Yeah, the transcripts are very interesting. I didn't know that they have an immediate link to that part of the video. So you can scroll through if you want to see a certain thing. And a lot of videos, they'll say, watch to the very end. So, of course, just go to the end, right? With the transcript, you can quickly scroll through. Like, I watch Learn Your Land. It's a mushrooms one. And I watch, Learn Your Land. And the other one is Eat the Weeds. And Bright Side. I love Bright Side. They have lots of hacks. I like household hacks. 5-Minute Crafts. I love that one. But I don't usually watch vlogs. I don't find any of them that I've really liked so far. Anyway, okay, I love you. I'm going to go. Have a wonderful day. Say your prayers. Stay close to the Lord. If you have scriptures open them, leave them open, and when you walk by, just glance at them if you aren't the reading kind of person. I have a hard time sitting down reading. Okay, we'll talk again. Bye-bye.